Okay, welcome back to our backend web development course. We've spoken a lot about installing our packages, initiating our node projects, installing third-party libraries, and using their exported methods and functions. We also spoke about creating scripts and running them. It could be custom scripts using your name and running whatever command you want therein. We also installed NodeMon to run our scripts so that it can watch for file changes and not close the terminal. Now, let's move fully into JavaScript. So this JavaScript course is for both front-end and back-end web development classes. Whatever is not needed for you, I'm going to pick it out um, in between. Yeah, so JavaScript, I said, is all about variables, methods, and functions. And if you're able to have a very good grasp of JavaScript variables, methods, and functions, you'll be very good. Now, what are variables? From the word variable, they are things that more like they are data stores in JavaScript. You have an idea in mind, you need to keep it somewhere. You declare a variable and you assign whatever you want to do to that variable. You could assign numbers, you could assign strings, you could assign objects, you could assign arrays, whatever it is you want to do. You need for you to be able to reuse it. So a variable is similar to what we can call a store. For you to be able to reuse it, you need to create a variable and assign that data to it. So see variables in JavaScript as data stores. Now, how do you declare a variable in JavaScript? In JavaScript, you can declare a variable using the var, the let, and the const keyword. So I'm sure probably you've seen me before just write variable key is equal to house. You get? Now, what is var? Instead of var, I could have used let. What is let? I could have said let key is equal to house. Instead of let, I could also have used const key is equal to house. What are all these variables? Why would I decide to use an a variable name var or let or const? Now let's dive deeper. Your JavaScript file by default is the global scope for that file. Inside your JavaScript file, you can have what we call function scopes, right? And then inside your function, you can have inside your function, you can have what we call block scopes. Now, take this main.js as your JavaScript file, right? And take it as your global scope. Makes sense, right? Now, in this JavaScript file, we have the global scope here. We now defined a function called, for now, let me use the function keyword instead of the constant. But if you want to declare a function, you can declare it this way, constant function. Constant, call it training function. Open brackets, close brackets with an arrow, and then you declare your function with curly braces. Now, inside this place is your function scope. I first of all want to explain scopes before I explain the different variable options. Now, inside this function, you could have something like an if statement. That if, let's assume that this our function is taking in an argument called arg, right? And we are saying if in this condition now, if type of argument is equal to string, then log, you remember we log, right? Console.log, you added a string as an argument. Now inside this block, this if block, right, is what you call your block scope. This looks like permission if you look at it again. That means a scope is where a variable is available for use. If you declare a variable here outside this function in this file, anybody in this file can use it, including every function there. If you declare a variable inside this function, every block, let's assume we have another block again. If type of argument is equal to number, let's log another thing again. Console.log, this is a number. Now look at this. Inside this function, we have two blocks, block 1 and block 2, right? If you declare any variable in this global scope in this file, the function will have access to it. Each block will have access to it. If you declare a variable inside this function, it will not be available outside here. If it is not a var, we'll get there. And it will be available inside the blocks. If you declare it here, it will easily be available here. So now let's start with the var variable. So let's assume that we declared variable, let's look for name of pets. Name of pets is equal to, what's the name of your pet? Bingo, right? You have a dog, right? Okay, Bingo. Now, this variable called name of pet, does it have a global scope or a function scope? Or a block scope? It has a global scope because it's declared within the file. Now, let's call this function. You know, when you declare a function, you need to call it for it to run. So to call a function, you call it by its name, open bracket, and close it. So we need to pass an argument to it, right? And the argument we want to pass is let's pass your name. What's your name again? Emmanuel. Can you see the log? You added a string as an argument. Now, what we want to check is if we log this name of pet inside this function, are we still going to have access to it? That's the meaning of scope, access. Can I have access to this guy so that I can still use him somewhere else? Let's also check that quickly. Let's log name of pets within function, then name of pets. Oh, sorry, I guess I made a mistake. Name of pets. Okay, now can you see that we still have access to name of pets, this variable that we declared here, even within this function? Right? Now, let's move inside the block. Because if you understand scoping, you would know what variable you can have access to once you start working with JavaScript. You would know, oh, if they declared the name of the school globally, using var, will I have access to it in every other place? If they declare it using let, will I have access to it in every other place? If they declare it using const, will I have access to it in every other place? Does it make sense? So now, within the block, let's check. Name of pet within block. So we have, let's even remove this argument for now. Okay, let's still keep it. So we now have, let's log it up here too. Name of pet globally. So we have name of pet globally, bingo. Name of pet within function, bingo. Name of pet within block, bingo. That's clear, right? Now, we said, now, if you use a var to declare your variable, you can redeclare it or update it. Now, the name of pet is bingo. Inside this function, I can decide, oh, I don't like the name they gave the pet, right? And I came here and I say, name of pet is now equal to Pinky. Now, look at what happens. Name of pet globally is still what? I need a response. Bingo. What's the name of pet within function? Pinky. Now, what's the name of pet within the block? What that means is, this name of pet here was updated. Let's make it complex a bit. When we declare the name of pet as bingo globally here, remember we said var variables can be globally scoped, can be function scoped, and can be block scoped, right? Now, when we now declare var name of pet here again, even though it's the same thing as name of pet in the naming, is the scope of this guy is within this function block. Can you see? Outside it, name of pet would pick this. Take your time to look at it very well. Do you understand it? Here, when we declared name of pet globally, we called it bingo. We now came here again, let's say by error, we still declared again. This is called a variable declaration. We came again here and we declared the same name as a variable, name of pet. We are saying if it was declared within this function, right? Are you seeing? If it was declared within this function, its scope will be from here, start, to here, finish. More like I am saying, this is the area of the court where you can play football. Once you play outside the line, it's, what do you call it? It's throwing. It does not count. It's scope that determines how big or how wide the access you can have to a variable. Does that make sense? We said it can be globally scoped depending on where you declared it. It can be function scoped depending on where you declared it. It can be block scoped. Does that make sense now? So you would see that when we came here and we logged name of pet, it did not pick this one that we declared here. It picked this one that was global. Because the scope for name of pet is not seeing this guy here. It's only seeing this guy here. So even though after the function, after we have called this function, we came down here to log name of pet, it picked the one up. Now let's declare this var again. This same name of pet. Let's say someone else is writing within this block and is blind not to see that it had been declared up. Also came here again and declared name of pet as Bala Blue. You get? Now, if you log name of pet here, Let's now make it interesting. So name of pet within block, name of pets within function again. We already have it within function here, right? After these two blocks now, we still want to have it again to know if whatever we declared inside the block, we change it. Now, let's go. So name of pets globally bingo, name of pets within function pinky, name of pets within block bala blue, name of pets within function again, where's that? Bala blue, name of pet lastly. So I think I messed this up. If you redeclare a var variable, if you declare a var variable within the block of a function, it will update it. But if you redeclare it within a function, it will not update the one that is global. Does that make sense? If you update a var variable within a block, it will update the variable within the function scope, but it will not update within the global scope. Is that clear? So that is that about var variables. Is that clear enough? Okay. So why did we decide to move to let instead of var? Why would we prefer to use let instead of var? I have a few points here. Let is block scoped and not function scoped. Hold on, please. Okay, so now take note, if we redeclare this same var variable, right, inside our block, remember I talked about this is a block, right? This is a block. This block ends here. Now, I said if we redeclare, take note, we still said var again. If you don't have this var, you're only updating it. Can you see? But if you redeclare it for whatever reason, probably you are writing codes in modules and you just have someone to write something that you put here. If you redeclare this variable within a block, it will update the same variable within the function. And that's why you see when we logged it here, console.log name of pet within function, it gave us pinky. When we came here and we declared it as bala blue and we logged name of pet within block, it gave us bala blue. Then when we left both blocks here, these two blocks, and we logged it, assume this one is not there, and just look at this function, what we declared, normally you would think just like the global scope that you should come here and still pick pinky, right? But you see that it picked bala blue. That means if you redeclare a var variable within a block, it will update the scope in the function. It will also update the value within the function. Now, to avoid this, for whatever reason, I have created a variable here, and it's a very large code base, and I asked someone else to work, and he did not know that I had created this variable. He now came down within his own block again and created the same variable name. Probably we think the same way. We have a naming convention in our company. And he gave exactly the same name to the variable he's working on. And he redeclared it using var. Do you know what would happen? Any other place where I am now using this name of pet within my function, what will happen? It will start picking its own new updates. And that might not be the desired behavior. This is where let comes in. Let is block scoped and not function scoped. Whereas var can be updated but not redeclared within the same scope. Sorry, I wanted to say let here. Let can be updated but not redeclared within the same scope. So look at it this way. let's now have let's have another thing. Now, this is interesting. Please look at it. Within our function, we add var, name of pet is Pinky. Within our block, instead of having var, we now had let name of pet. From the word let, more like a temporary thing. Just for this block, let name of pet be Balablu, just for this block. That's the meaning of that word let. Please, for the sake of this block, let name of pet be Balablu. Outside this block, let name of pet be whatever it has been called. That way, I can work on my own part of the code, abstract my variable and the name, and be sure that it will only work within my own space, within my own scope. Does that make sense? So we have moved from var to let. You can declare a variable using var. The next one is you can also declare a variable using let. If you declare a variable using let, for example, within a block like this, right, the value will remain within this block. Anything you do outside this block, it will not be available. So you said let name of pet be Balablu. You log name of pet within block. What's it? Name of pet within block, Balablu, right? But when you log name of pet outside the block, let me remove this block for now to make it easy. When you log name of pet, when you log name of pet outside the block here, you see that it is still Pinky. This update no longer affected it. This declaration no longer affected it. Before now, if this declaration had been a var, right, within this block, it would have affected the name of pet within the function, Balablu. Does that make sense? Now, we have let name of pet be Balablu. Let's have another variable again. Let's just create another variable. Let friend of pets be equal to Bulaba. Right? Now, if I come outside this block, you know this is a block. I said if statements are blocks, loops, and several other expressions within JavaScript are block of code that you can take out and return. Blocks of code, they can stand alone. That's why they are blocks. So a function can have several blocks to make a function. Can you see this is a function, right? You declare it using constant this with an argument or empty argument in brackets, an array, an arrow function, and then your curly braces. Now, your function can contain several blocks, several methods, several declarations. So within this block now, we created another, we declared another variable called friend of pet, and we called it Bulaba. Now, if you log this friend of pet outside this block, please look at what happens. Friend of pets. There is a problem. What's the problem? Can you read this error for me? From reference error. Reference error means I'm trying to reference it. I'm trying to look for it and I cannot find it. It's saying what? Friend of pet is not defined. But you would say we defined it here, didn't we? Yes, we did it, but we defined it only within this block because it is used let. What if we had used var? What would have happened? Bulaba. You see that if you declare a variable with var, even within a block, it will, what we call hoist, it will take it up as if you declared it within the function and show it here. So if you want to declare within a block and you want another person to have access to it, what should you use? Var. But more like private, let is private. More like I'm a cool guy. I don't want to make noise. Just want to party alone, come with your wines, and just to party for a few friends. But var, I'm a noise maker. Let's go to Instagram. Let's make some noise. Let's show Yeah. So now let's see if we can get this friend of pet in the global scope. We've gotten it in the function scope, right? Is it beginning to make sense little by little? Now, in the global scope here, is not defined. So we've been able to prove that hoisting works within a function. Hoisting, that means I declared it in a block, and the compiler takes it from the block and takes it to the top of the function, as if I declared it within the function. That is hoisting. Should I spell that? Hoisting made this available within the function scope. Does that make sense? So even though it was declared within a block. Oh, why do I have this too? Even though it was defined within a block. Does this make sense? Now it's beginning to make some sense. Whatever you declare in your file would be available outside a function, again, within the file. Whatever you declare within the file, within the function, will remain available within the function. Whatever you declare within the block will affect the function. It will go up. That's why when we declared name of pet within this, using var, within this, what's it called? Yes, Bulaba. It still changed Pinky to Bulaba. But when you use let, it will stay within your block. It's getting interesting, right? So that's that about what's it called? Let. And we said that you can update let. So for example, let's say we said let friend of pets. So let's okay, wait, we already have variable friend of pet. Let's now have another let. Let's make it a bit complex. Now, this name of pet is different from this name of pet. Do you agree with me? The one in the function is different from the one in the block because this one does not even know anybody outside. These are private children from rich kids, right? Now, let's now update this guy and see what will happen to name of pet within this block. Should we go ahead? When you want to update, you do not add that identifier again, whether var or let or const. You just put the name of the variable alone. So you now have name of pets will be equal to Balablu, Bulaba, and what again? Roasted corn. Roasted corn. Now take note that by the time you logged name of pet within block, where is it? It's roasted corn. What happened to our Balablu? This has updated it. Simply like this is an update. Makes sense, right? But if we say, before now, you could easily just redeclare var, and there was no problem. Now, with let, you cannot do that. Let's now look at the error that will throw up. Let's now do let name of pet be equal to roasted corn. It threw an error. What's the error? Identifier name of pet has already been declared. You have declared name of pet, you can't declare it again. It is private to that block, and it is the only variable name that will be allowed. Making sense, right? So that means for let you can update, but you cannot redeclare. For var you can redeclare and you can update. When you update a var variable within a block, it will affect the scope within the function. If you declare a variable within a block, it will hoist it and place it at the top level of the function. Function var variables are scoped within the function and cannot be accessed outside the function. They will become undefined. Global variables can be accessed at any point within the function. If they are declared within a function and a block, they will take in their new value. Is that clear? The last thing we want to talk about is the const keyword. We have spoken about the var, we have spoken about the let. The last one is const. Just like let, const is also block scoped. The only difference is that const cannot be updated and cannot be redeclared. So look at it. From the word const, it means constant. I will not change. So it says const, I will, you can call your variables any name. I will not change. But we normally write our variable names using camel case. Camel case means you can start with small letter, have capital letters in between for each word. I will not change. Does that make sense? So I will not change is equal to I am not changing. If you come here and you say you now want to redeclare like you've been doing, so let's log I will not change to. You know we can only have access to it within this block, right? If you want to have access to it within different blocks, you'll come up here and declare it. You can declare a let within this function. You could have declared a const within this function here too, here, right? And then it will be accessible in all the blocks. So I want you to see it like it's flowing from global to function to scope to block, and whatever is in block is just scoped to itself, private to itself. So now let's log the only constant within the block. And we are logging I will not change. So when you log I will not change, you would see the only constant within the block, I am not changing. Let me add this. The only constant within the block, I am not changing. Now let's try to change I am not changing because we are very stubborn. So let's first of all update it before we redeclare, right? I will not change. I don't want to say I will change. It throws me an error already. Assignment to constant variable, type error. That means this is not possible. You cannot assign to a constant variable again. It is constant. This makes your code very clean and sweet to work through. Whatever you are sure will not change, you should keep it as a const. Whatever you are sure should only change within that scope, within that block, should be a let and should be declared within the block. If it is just for that block, whatever needs to be accessed from different blocks needs to be in the function scope. And for whatever reason, if it's not there, you can declare it within a block and then it will be hoisted. Okay, so that's the first error. Now let's try to redeclare the constant. Another error. Identifier will not change has already been declared. So, but there is a caveat to this. In JavaScript, we have different data types. We have string, something like this, right? We have numbers, and we are still going to talk more about data types. We have numbers, we have objects, we have arrays, and the likes. Now, if your constant is an object of first name is equal to Femi. You separate an object with a comma. Object is simply having these curly braces and then a key and a value. A key and a value. Do you get that? So you can have several details of about a particular variable in one object. You can have the first name, you can have the last name is equal to Badairo. You can have age is equal to 12. That's that for now. Now, you remember we said that you cannot update a constant. But if the constant is an object, you can update the values of those properties. So you can come here and just say Let us first of all log I will not change again. We have logged I will not change, right? Right? Now, let's now come here and now let's update the constant, but not the constant itself. We are updating a key within the constant. So we would have I will not change dot. You use the dot notation to find key and value within an object. So if you do dot first name, right, you can now give it a new value. Instead of Femi, you can say Dami. But before we even get there, let us log the first name of I will not change. The only constant first name within the block. So if you want to get the first name, you do I will not change dot what? First name. So we already have here the only constant first name within the block, Femi. Now if we now change it to Dami, now if you come back here and you log the only constant first name within the block that has changed, what do you now have? Dami. If you come over and log the entire I will not change, this is to confirm whether I will not change has changed. This is funny. So let us log the entire I will not change. What has happened here? The first name has changed because we updated the property, and we said it here. A const object cannot be updated, but the properties of the object can be updated. We updated the property, but not the object itself. We could not have said I will not change is equal to. We cannot assign something else to it, but we can look for the things in the object, the keys in the object, update their properties and change the values. Does that make sense? Yeah, this is all about variable declarations and naming in JavaScript. You use the var, use the let, and use the const keywords. Thank you for your time.